time are we starting, just so we know?
Right now.
Oh, right now. Okay, got it.
What's up, guys? It's your boy James, aka Six8Jay, coming to you on this Friday. It's 3 p.m., guys. I'm super excited as I have a phenomenal guest, or should I say a couple guests here from Fruition Productions. I know we've been looking forward to this interview for a while, guys. Before we get started, let me welcome the Crypto for Life family. Brandon Dobbin, what's up, my brother? Tony Bags in the house, always one away. Appreciate you guys in a major way. Let's take a look at the market cap real quick. Let's see, we're at a $2.33 trillion market cap. Bitcoin, guys, at 62,554. Ethereum at $3,400. We got BNB at 406. Solana coming in at 130. XRP 60 cents. Good Lord. What's up, Crypto OG? How you doing, my friend? We've got ADA at 69 cents. Dogecoin coming in at 69 as well. Actually, at 14 cents. We got AVAX at 42.59. TRX at 14 cents. Chainlink coming in just under $20 at $19.95. Sounds like a blue light special. We've got Polkadot at 862, guys. Matic coming in at 102. Shiba, good Lord, 4 zeros and a 1. We've got Uniswap coming in at 1160, guys. ICP, 1292. Let me see what else we got here. APT at 1192, guys, up 31% over last week. That thing's pumping quite a bit. We got Stacks, STX at 298, guys. We got Filecoin coming in at 819. Near, let's make it clear, 394. What's up? Lacha, is all you say? Lacha? Tiffany Serranos, what's up, sis? How you doing? Casper, good Lord, Casper, been on fire. I remember my son telling me about that one. Casper, Dad, get some Casper. And I didn't do it. That thing's been up almost, what, 3,000% or something like that? H-bar, 11 cents. We got Optimism at 377, guys. Stellar coming in at 12 cents. V-Chain, 4 cents. Crow, if you didn't know, 12 cents. Crow is actually on fire right now. 13.56% over the last 24 hours, 35% over the last week. That thing is on fire. Hopefully you guys got your bags packed. Guys, always remember that nothing we talk about on this show should ever be considered or deemed financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. My name is James, aka Six8Jay. Been in crypto since 2017, documenting my journey in the evolution of money. And so we're really, really excited, guys. Obviously, we see the markets on fire. Normally, I get into what's going on around crypto markets, charts, all that good stuff. But today, we're going to pass all that stuff. Why? Because we got some incredible people, guys. I'm really, really excited to get to know them. And normally what I try to do is get on about 5 minutes before, let them know who I am, get to know who they are. But we're going to do all that right in front of you guys. Is that okay, Tony Bags? What's up, Tony Bags? Hopefully you guys are also looking forward to March 3rd and 4th right here in Las Vegas, guys. We're going to have DAI, Digital Perspective, Joe Katz, Brad Garlandhouse. And by the way, if you guys didn't remember, XRP Bags, Berserk, and all those guys are going to be having a moon party. And we're going to be having a special event here at my home for those of you guys want to come check out and hang out with the Crypto for Life family. That's right. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe and press the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. So without any further ado, guys, I'm super, super excited. I've been looking forward to this interview. You guys help me welcome my friends over at Fruition Production. Are you guys there?
Yes, hello. Thanks for having us.
How are you guys today?
We're doing awesome. Yeah, we're getting out of that rain here in California, so we're looking forward to the sun returning.
Oh, wow. What part of California you guys in?
We're in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. I actually used to have a place right across from the what's it called? The Staples Center. Now it's called the Crypto.com. I was in like those.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, downtown.
Yeah. So I was there. Yeah, downtown. It was a lot of fun. Was there for about a year and a half. Me and the wife. So let me start off by telling you guys a little bit about myself, and then I get to know who you guys are. I got a series of questions here. So my name is James, aka Six8Jay. Used to play pro basketball. Got in crypto in 2017. Was able to turn that into obviously a life-changing opportunity for my wife and I. We retired or semi-retired, I guess, 4 years ago. Took off to Hawaii, been kind of traveling everywhere for the last couple of years, buying up a bunch of stuff, real estate, good stuff like that. And my background is a business owner for 20-something years in California. And now just, been passionate about helping people in crypto. It's been an amazing ride. And it's been incredible. So we started this channel after co-hosting with someone just about a year ago. And everyone kept asking me to start my own channel. And it's been amazing. So with that being said, you guys just came out of nowhere. I mean, I teach a lot of people. We do everything from market analysis, technical analysis, fundamental analysis. I've never heard of Fruition, and all of a sudden you guys came out and you're like the hottest thing being talked about right now in crypto. I tell you, everybody wants to know who you guys are. So let's start it like this. How long have you guys been in crypto, and what got you guys started?
Yeah, I think that. So I'm Chris Dodge. I'm the director and producer on XRP Unleashed, and
I'm Maya Pothier, and I'm also a producer. So
Awesome,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
and so she got us into crypto in the 2018 time period. Like a lot of folks, we got into crypto first through Bitcoin. That was kind of like the first way we heard about crypto. And then when we started getting into 2019, 2020, we started getting a lot of the meme coins. It was our bull cycle back then. Elon Musk was in the space. There was a lot of interest in various fast moving assets. So we moved out of Bitcoin, or moved a good chunk of our investment out of Bitcoin, and moved into Dogecoin for a little while, and then into Shiba Inu. And sort of like after going through a couple cycles of meme coin, pumps, we were kind of like, all right, we got to find like a real token. No offense to anyone who still invests in those assets, but like we got to find a utility token, and we needed to find like a company. Like, what we liked about Ripple or XRP was it's an actual company. It's got a CEO. It's got a executive staff. They have business partnerships with large financial institutions. And as crazy as it might sound to somebody outside of crypto, that was our de-risking strategy.
Yes.
Was to de-risk to XRP.
Yeah.
And so anyways,
Which is still risk.
which is still crypto still has its risk, but
Exactly.
not financial advice. But we definitely went there, and have been holding, in XRP pretty much since 2020, when we moved over from our all of our various meme coins.
Gotcha.
And so that's kind of how we started getting into crypto. And we looked at that as like, for many people, obviously there's the financial component of it. So they're looking at, well, if I did everything by the rules, I invested, money into the traditional, S&P index funds or traditional Roth IRAs, I might be lucky to retire at 60 something years old with a couple $1 million, which sounds like a lot of money. But then when you realize with inflation, particularly in this last hyperinflation cycle, that you are not going to necessarily be comfortable in your retirement.
Absolutely.
We just needed to find something that was faster moving, that we felt like had the means to go 10x, 20x in a short term. Short term in my mind is like, a couple of years.
That's right.
So that was why we got into crypto, and we kind of looked at that as like an opportunity for us to seek financial freedom, and look at like, how can we do what you're doing? How can we look at reinvesting in real estate and other assets? And so crypto became like the first mechanism to build that wealth.
Well, it's funny because I feel like we're related or something. I don't know. I mean, your story, it sounded like you were telling my story. It's like, you get in, you see this crazy thing called Bitcoin. Obviously, I was very fortunate in 17 to get in, and was able to dollar cost average at a sub $3,000 price.
Yeah, amazing.
And then I went, here's what's so funny. I start telling all my family and friends, because it was hard to explain wallets and what to do and all these different things. So everyone was at that point using what's it called, Robinhood. And so Doge was like 0.000.
We were in Robinhood.
Yeah, so I just told my family, look, go buy some Dogecoin. And people just started buying that stuff. I bought a buttload of it, and then Shiba came out, and that's why I started laughing, because I did the same thing. And my background as a basketball player, I was a motivational speaker on some of the biggest stages around the world. I did a lot of stuff in my day, invested in movies, got a big celebrity following, played in celebrity games all the way up until I got too old, and I stopped the last Super Bowl. But here's what I'll tell you, is that it's hard to be credible. And I know you guys probably can imagine this, when you're out there talking about you just invested in some dog coins. So like, can you imagine your friends and say, hey, I invested in Doge or Shiba, and they're like, okay, you're crazy. So XRP just made way more sense to me. I'm sure you guys felt the same way.
Absolutely.
But I felt the same way, guys. I mean, I guess my next question, I guess you kind of answer it. Why XRP? Which, why XRP? And can you name, and I'm sure there's other companies, I know there are actually a lot of other companies, but can you name a more reputable, solid company in crypto than XRP? I'm sorry, than Ripple.
And Ripple. I mean, at least for me, I was the one that kind of stumbled upon XRP. Yeah, on Voyager, actually. It was right after we did kind of go through the whole Dogecoin Shiba situation, which was a risk in and of itself. But, we kind of got to that point of, hey, we want to get out of the matrix.
Right.
We have to it's about what risk did we want to take? And, to each individual, that is different. But as I was on Voyager kind of looking into, I would constantly be trying to look into other projects, and knowing that Dogecoin definitely did not have any utility, and we were wanting to de-risk.
Right.
I just kind of read the caption of XRP, and I thought, holy crap, it really did. It just kind of hit me like a wave of, this is going to be revolutionary.
Right.
Just seeing and understanding that it was going to transform the banking system, just knowing how frustrating it is to send money all over the world and how long it takes and the process, it just doesn't make sense. So when I did come across that, I told Chris about it, and we thought, okay, this is our next move into XRP. And that was around November of 21. So yeah, any other company or any other blockchain or project, there's many out there, right? It's not just XRP.
Right, that's right.
I do like that's what I love about this space is that it brings so many different opportunities.
Absolutely.
It's not necessarily through just the XRP technology.
That's right.
But I do think, I even said it to someone just the other day, you just can't beat the technology, because when you are sending money, I've used the technology. When I send money over to a friend or to Chris, he gets it in 3 to 5 seconds at a low cost, and it just makes sense, right? So that's kind of my answer to why XRP.
Yeah. I feel the same way, and I think one of the things that confuse me, I'm very diversified in different assets. XRP or Ripple being one, or XRP being one of my favorite. But I think one of the things that really gets me, and I'm being a little facetious here, but do you ever sit back and wonder why more people aren't bullish on XRP? And I know. For me, is everyone wants like those microwavable results. They want that quick meme coin, Pepe, Shakaka coin, whatever it is. And so it just, especially people who seem to be very, very brilliant in this space, and they just don't want anything to do with it. And I'm just sitting here going, have you ever sat back and just thought to yourself, why aren't people getting this the way you guys understand it and many others?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at where the world is going,
Exactly.
we are moving to a de-dollarized world. So, the reserve currency of the world moving off of dollars. I'm not prescribing to say that XRP is going to be a reserve currency per se, and we're not. We're actually, I should be transparent in the documentary. We're not in the documentary. We're here to talk about it, but the documentary are experts weighing their own expertise and research, and we're trying to assemble the strongest team possible to provide analysis. But for what I've heard and the experts we've spoken with, and what I observed in the world, is that we have a de-dollarization going on. And when you have several, we'll call them like pooled currencies around the world, whether we're talking about the euro, the yuan, or we're talking about BRICS nations, or even in a future where there's more self-sovereignty with CBDCs and individual digital currencies out of various places like African countries that might be able to use all of the natural resources they have to stand up a digital currency. There's just increasingly a world where we're going to have an intermediary bridge of some sort to connect these various currencies together. Forget about the SWIFT transition, which is a factor. But increasingly, it is even for non-SWIFT nations the ability to change money, and that's without even getting into the XRPL, AMMs and other types of use cases that are going to continue to drive utility. So, like there are camps. What I've learned is there are camps. There are maxis in different places, and nothing wrong with that. You can be passionate about your crypto asset.
Correct.
But when I look at a building sitting in Singapore, in San Francisco, in several of the world's finance hubs all over the world, filled with intelligent, articulate business leaders, business development people, and most importantly, developers, that are building a technology that serves what I think the future state of the world will be.
Right.
It's hard for me to see past that because the thing that you have to realize is major institutions are going to want an entity to work with. Yes, the Bitcoin ETF is there, so you
Right.
got the BlackRocks and the city capitals bringing net new money into the system,
Right.
which is good. We need regulation and we need big money in it, but careful what you wish for because that also could mean that it's a little less decentralized than it used to be, right? The network's still decentralized, but the pool of money is a little less so. But
Right.
I think with Ripple, what I'm looking at is that future opportunity of an institution working with regulators, working with global banking institutions,
Right.
hooking into the back end. And if I'm a bank, if I'm the Bank of England, if I'm the Bank of Egypt, if
Right.
I'm the Bank of Singapore, name your, federal bank or whatever it happens to be, government bank, they're going to want to work with a world-class development organization.
That's
I think
correct.
that's why
Already
at the
set
end of
up.
the day,
Yeah.
they're not going to work with a random dude in his basement. It's just not going to work that way,
Yeah,
right?
no,
So
yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think that's
Yeah.
really what I was looking for with that question as far as a more reputable company, because you got companies out there that are in the top 10 right now. You got Doge at 9, and they're talking about payments for this, and you can go to Lamborghini and spend it. But Ripple wasn't created as a joke and then became
yeah,
something. It is not.
Exactly.
It is not backed by a billionaire that's making it popular. So no, I think the perception with XRP early on was it was ahead of its time. I think it's just the opposite. I think institutions and even our government know exactly what it was created for. They understand it. They used it, and I think that threaten their what they had in place. And so I think that's why we've seen the issues that we've had with Ripple. I always use I don't know if you guys remember back in the 80s, it was the Olympics. I always use the Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding type thing when she hit
Oh yeah.
her in the ankle and tried to stop her from. And I always said that's what
Exactly.
they hit Ripple in the
yeah.
ankle and tried to stop them from performing up to their
Oh, yeah.
highest ability.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that because you were asking just why XRP and also why haven't, more people or individuals have not, kind of known about this technology or gone into it.
Right.
I mean, because it is very still, even to this day, it's very controversial. Like in regards to where it's going with the tokenizations and the CBDCs, I know that was definitely something in the last few years I've heard of people just rubbing them the wrong way in regards to, it where it is moving towards. And it's a matter of like you just have to like the internet. I always tell people, the internet, right? It was a revolutionary thing. It really did, kind of perpetuate humanity in many ways, but then it was both good and bad, right? You
Right.
kind of have to look at XRP and the technology as, I think it is more so for a good reason and it's
Right.
going to be used in a good way. But there also is going to be, some bad to come along with it.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, kind of understanding that, especially because, at some point you do have to realize that this is where the world is headed. And so are you going to get on board or are you just going to be left behind, So
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. I think, and by the way, guys, if you guys get a chance, go over here to Fruition Productions. You can see their X page. We have it pulled up right here behind them. Make sure you support these guys. They're absolutely incredible. And so before I get to the big question, which is what started you guys on this journey with the documentary, I want to ask you guys your personal opinions, not so much as a company, but individually, your thought process on some of these evaluations, and I'm not asking you to jump on any of those things, but when you look at, let's say, the Valal Capital with their predictions, you look at what Joe Cass said XRP was created to be at least a $10,000 coin. Valal said something like 25 to 35,000 by 2030. My whole thing is, me personally, I feel like, look, if these guys just got it 10% right, even 1% right, it changes everybody's life, right?
Exactly.
Just 1% right. So I don't want to get. I'm not the kind of guy that goes out there and starts talking about 1,000 and all that. Hey, God bless us. God bless if it gets there. But just realistically, are you guys excited? Where do you see XRP in the short term and long term, and why?
Right.
And what will it take for us to get there?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously there's a lot of catalysts in the very short term that have industry ramifications. So the first one isn't related to XRP, it's the Bitcoin halving.
Right.
Right. In April, May, we have a Bitcoin halving. and in historical cycles, it's taken several months past the halving point to hit peak market conditions. So right in time for what? The US elections. Very interesting.
Interesting.
You also have the Fed's, most likely it's an election year. My grandmother, who I won't share her age, but has been in real estate for 50 years, always told me, hey, Christopher, it's an election year. And so what does that mean for a real estate agent? It means the interest rates are gonna go down.
Yep.
What does that mean? That means new money in the system.
Boom.
Why we had a boom in 2020, it's one of the factors.
That's
I'm
right.
just adding these catalysts that your audience knows, a lot of people know. But then we also have, we've had an artificial suppression going on with the SEC court case. We have the Judge Torres ruling last year that for at least retail investors, thanks to the work that John Deaton has done and others, that we have, and the work that Ripple did themselves, defending themselves, that we ended up with, hey, for retail investors, it's not a security, but the ones you sold to institutions was a security. So they have to get through their remedies phase so they can figure out what that fine is going to be for those things. But probably they're going to work it down pretty low. And even if it was $200, $300, $500 million, I'm not saying it's going to be that much. People can pay it regardless.
I almost think not to cut you off. I think the longer it goes, maybe the less it is. If they hadn't gone through all these and settled maybe a little bit less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not a technical analysis person. I don't know how to do that. Every time someone's like short and resistance level, support level, my brain just turns off. I'm smart, but I don't understand what you're talking about. So I'm kind of we're in the perpetual hold category. We're not like somebody who's going to liquidate all of this asset at $3, $5, $7. I did some numbers myself a while ago, and I was like, oh well, if we can hit to the market cap of Ethereum and flip Ethereum, that's going to put that thing in the $5, $6 range. And that's a moving target because Ethereum's increasing in value as well. But if you can kind of get close to Ethereum or flip it, you're in the $5 to $6 range. If you get to Bitcoin range, now you're talking about $1 trillion spread over 100 billion coins, but only really 50 something billion of them are in circulation because of escrow. Then you're looking at evaluations in the $12, $16 range, but those are predicated on hitting those market valuations.
Absolutely.
And so in order to get that, the sequence that has to happen is the case has to finish, the remedies have to be done, and then we need new money. And so I think once that's done, Ripple will IPO, and Ripple will most likely, Brad has alluded to that. You can even see BlackRock, wink, wink, smile, smile about it.
That's right.
A BlackRock ETF, which has had an effect on Bitcoin, will have an effect on XRP when and if an ETF could be a part of that. And then you zoom out to 2015 when the ISO 20022 transition is done, which isn't necessarily directly connected to XRP, but XRP sits in the ISO coins on that blockchain, and Ripple sits on the border Swift. So that's another reason why that's interesting.
Absolutely.
So I think that you're in a place where the facilitation of that marketplace, and we've seen a lot of amendments go through the the folks voting on the AMM and other areas that are going to drive value. So it's just so much in 1 year. I would just be like, hold that bag for dear life.
I agree.
Put your money in now and hold that bag for dear life. Because whether it goes to $3, $6, $12, whatever that is, in the short term, I'm not even getting into those other evaluation models, but I can answer your question after she has a chance. But I think that even here in 2024 and 2025, it's a very exciting time for crypto, whether you're in XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum or any coin, really. There's going to be a waterfall in the whole industry. So that's kind of my personal belief of the whole system.
I agree.
Yeah. And then for my perspective is, price point is speculative and there are so many catalysts, but ultimately, we've decided, it's funny when people talk to us and say, okay, at what price point are you selling? And we're like, we're not going to.
Exactly.
We're not here for it's not a, XRP, the technology is not a pump and dump like the meme coins. And so, and there's so much you can do because of the AMMs, because of the ETF, there's so many other avenues that if you just learn about it and figure out, hey, you know what? There are target price points for us in regards to diversifying, maybe, into real estate or, even into another crypto project or asset. But ultimately, we do have, quite a bag, and we are holding to be able to, possibly later on be our own self-sovereign bank,
Right.
or to be able to like receive loans, right? To be
Right.
able to kind of like, hey, let's leverage it.
And you gotta understand where we came in at too. I mean, we mostly purchased most of our XRP. If you look at historical price charts at $1.
Yeah.
So our probably net average is probably somewhere in the
Like
70
94.
cents range.
Okay.
When you look at all of it.
Right.
So like I don't laugh at, but I kind of like empathetic with folks who are like, man, I put $200 in, and oh my God, I lost $40. And I'm like, yeah, I just lost a house.
Yeah.
I made one. So like, relax. You're gonna be okay.
No,
You're gonna be okay. But to address an earlier part of your question about VTHO Capital. So VTHO Capital, Jimmy Valley, and his team, Molly Elmore, Scott Minette at that firm, they put together evaluation models. There's actually 6 of them. People just kind of stick to the highest they anchor on the highest number.
Exactly.
There's also Jimmy Valley's buyback proposal. I think that those are very controversial things. We interviewed them directly about that. I think that there are scenarios you have to understand, and I would encourage anyone to go out and find the internet of those evaluation models.
Right.
You have to understand that the means by which those evaluations models are calculated, they are like, okay, let's take the higher scenarios, for example. Let's take like a really high scenario. That requires the tokenization of all world assets on the XRP ledger. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Now, well, are we walking into a world where tokenizing of assets is going to be a lot more prevalent? Absolutely, right? But I think it's a hypothetical. You could certainly say, oh, well, what happens if all the world's economies runs on XRPL? You have to generate a number.
Right.
So you take the total utility, that creates a virtuous cycle. That's an assumption of both a store of value and as a utility token, which has some controversy. Some people look at it as it's a utility token. Some people think of it as maybe store of value. And there's a little bit of what I see as infighting in the community around that.
What?
But if you I prescribe to some of the lower models. If I look at they use 2030 as a point in time, right? Because you have to pick a point in time. But the one that I find interesting of their models, I'm not saying that I'm stamping hey, you should prescribe to this at all, but they did a model. One of them was like, what happens if you get 10% of all cross-border payments by 2030?
Yeah.
And it's roughly like $1,200. Like, don't quote me on it, but it's about $1,200 a point. So when you think about that, let's say forget all of that. Let's just reduce it down by a factor. Let's just say $100.
Right.
That is pretty
significant.
Awesome.
Big time. Life-changing. Yeah.
60 cents right now to go to those levels. I'm not saying that's what it's going to do, but I'm definitely, you'd have to flip Ethereum, you'd have to flip Bitcoin, at least where they are today, unless values go up.
I think the issue is so many people can't see it yet. If you go back in history, you saw a 0.003 of a Bitcoin. You saw Bitcoin at $1. And so people can't fathom it. I think there's, in my opinion, this is how I see it. I think obviously you have Ripple IPO, you have the lawsuits. I think all those things play a factor. But I think the thing and then obviously you have the halving and it moves. I always say, it dips when Bitcoin dips, it goes up when Bitcoin goes. So it's following the market. I think those things will definitely lead into maybe a $3 to, I don't know, $5, $6 XRP based off the IPO, based off the lawsuit ending. And that's going to be super bullish. And then if you add all that up to a halving or post-halving or whatever, it could be huge. But I personally think that people get too caught up in market cap. They get too caught up in it's got to flip this. No, you don't understand. It just has to play the game like every other asset. And obviously the IPO and other things help, the lawsuit. But I think there's a time when institutional adoption happens that it detaches itself from everything else because it's really not like anything else. And so I think in my opinion, at that point when institutional adoption and all these partnerships are revealed, all these countries, all these partnerships, all the big money starts coming in. I think it might be a time, and it's just my 2 Satoshis, my 2 cents, that I think there'll be a time where people have a hard time getting XRP, especially when it starts getting allocated to those institutions, and if there's a buyback, whatever the case may be. I just think there's going to be a point in time where Ripple or XRP detaches itself from the market based off of what the utility and what it was used for, or what it was created for. Once you realize what it was created for, market cap really doesn't matter. It matters now, because it's fell on the market, but at some point I don't think it will, and that's just my 2 Satoshis. You guys' opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, well,
I agree with that. Yeah.
I certainly agree with that, and I think that, I mean, if you look at market cap, let's take the Bitcoin community for a moment, and well, if you're saying Bitcoin's going to go to 1 million, you realize how much money that's going to take, right?
Right.
That is in the trillions of dollars, right? Where are we at? 60,000? Are we at 1.2 trillion roughly?
Yeah.
So, back of the envelope map, you've got to go, basically almost 2x over that, and then what is that? Almost like 16 times or something. So you're going to go into like $17 trillion, let's just say.
Right.
I'll correct my math later, but like it's a lot of money you're looking for.
Right.
$1 trillion, when the world's most valuable company, Microsoft, is worth $3 trillion. So you want to come up with like the whole top 10 Fortune 500 worth of capital. Not saying that it doesn't exist out there, but it definitely is a hard sell as a store of value only. With the Bitcoin world.
Right.
Whereas with XRP at 60 cents, it's sitting at 30 billion. That's why I mentioned that $10 to $12 valuation, rough math, because that would be equitable to the size Bitcoin is now in terms of market evaluation. So there are people who get obsessed with the market cap piece, but I think the utility is there. And then when you start adding in tokenization of real world assets and other types of things, it becomes just a really interesting technology on top of all these disparate forces of these different currencies that are going to have to communicate with each other and is going to have to bridge across there. So I just see it as we're in the early days. If people thought we were if you think you're too late, you are not late. You are still like in the earliest phases of this crypto universe. No matter what coin you prescribe to.
Well, here's the thing that gets me. You got so many coins that are based off of an assumption. Well, it's a prediction of what it's going to do. And some of these coins are sitting up at 20, 30, 100, a couple hundred. I mean, it's just amazing. And so a lot of times when I invest in a lot of stuff, and you'd be shocked if I tell you some of the stuff, like, for an example, here in the United States, there's this thing called the Apple Watch. But if you Google iWatch, there's a company out of Fresno, California that actually owns that trademark here in the U.S. There's companies that own it in China. There's companies that own it in Europe and other places. But in the United States, there's this guy who owns the majority of that company with a doctor and an NFL guy, and that guy is me. So I actually own the iWatch trademark in the United States. So when I say tech, I've been in tech for a long time. I understand it. I try to get ahead of the wave. And so, and that's a whole nother story. But I say that to say this. I look at everything as in its entirety. I don't just, I always say people, a lot of times they're like horses with blinders. They look at crypto, they don't look at what's going on around the world. They don't look at all these different things that could affect that particular, let's say, investment or that particular asset.
Right.
For me, there's nothing inside of me that makes me think that Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, all those guys, or even Stuart Alderete, who's representing those guys, are sitting around with hopium. They didn't spend $200 million fighting the SEC with hopium. I think there's something they know that we're trying to figure out, but they've got, and look, they can't say it for so many reasons why they can't say it, but you don't spend $200 million on a what if. You don't spend $200 million on just, I love what Brad said when he said, in the early days, we were kind of like, Amazon, when, Amazon was books, and he goes, there's so much more than that. And he goes, when we first started off, we were cross-border payments, but we're so much more than that. And I just think
they're going to be like the Amazon.
They're going to be the Amazon of moving money and blockchain. And I just think there's so many different aspects. And so that's what excites me. It's the possibilities, and it's understanding how smart, you said it earlier, how smart, how intelligent, how ethical these guys are. I mean, just a great company. all the, you look at Brad's background, you look at the whole company as a whole, and so that's the thing that really gets me excited. Is I know they're not here playing. I know they've got a plan. I don't all the way know what it is, but I know that these guys have something that's going to change lives. And I think to add to that, and I want you guys to make a comment. I think one of the biggest issues that's going to happen is people are going to get so caught up in the IPO phase, the lawsuit ending phase. It goes to $3 to $5, and people start cashing out excited. And I think most people will miss out on. It's going to be the big. I always joke and say this. I think the stocks of Pepto-Bismol is going to go up because everyone's going to get sick. And that's a joke, by the way. Everyone's going to get sick because I think people are going to go, oh my God, $3 to $5, we did it. And they're going to miss the explosion. And that explosion is institutional adoption. That's just my opinion.
That's how I feel personally.
Yeah, I mean,
I keep telling
this is again, there's just, as we peel this onion away, I mean, some of this documentary has been us just doing our research and finding experts, talking to people like you, talking to commentators, talking to people like John Deaton and Jimmy Valley. Okay, Jimmy Valley, controversial or not, to certain parties inside the community.
Right.
How did you come up with these evaluation models? What was behind there? And I understand the logic. And then you go out to talk with developers in the community, which is where we're working on right now, is interviewing developers and all these utilities. I mean, I see why entities like the US government would be afraid, because you're going to be able, let's just take it to something you see a lot in social media. Right. A lot of, you probably know this because high net worth people know this. The whole idea of family trust, self-sovereignty, whole life insurance, blah, 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 that whole game that people play, right? That the wealthy have played for a long time, but is a game that all of us are now learning how to play. Right. That is a similar, not exactly the same, but similar reality to what is going to happen in crypto, when you're going to be able to transfer your crypto from place to place for goods and services, when I no longer have to go through an exchange to fiat, and when I'm going to be able to put those crypto assets into an escrow and get liquidity from that escrow, and then actually get yields from that escrow, you're going to be in a whole new world, and that freaks governments out. Because now you don't need the dollar anymore.
That's right.
You don't really need it at all. I'm not saying that's what will happen, but it is a possibility when you start looking at like projects like Reaper Coin and Ascension, and some of these other, I think, bold ideas that the traditional banking system makes it hard for underbanked, underprivileged, undercredited parts of the world, and even parts of the world where we have access to that finance.
Right.
It costs more than ever to buy a house. It costs more than ever. And the way that in banking systems front load that interest, I mean, everything is sort of against you, as we'll call you, like as a standard wage worker within the country, right? And so there's so many areas that I'm inspired by seeing these projects, and I understand now why the government's so freaked out. Right. Because they need to figure out how to play the game with us.
Make you feel like
otherwise we're going to figure out how to play the game without them, and they're going to be out of the equation.
And that's the problem. I think it's this whole thing with XRP Ripple is all about control. Obviously, it's trying to keep people in a matrix. It's trying to keep people's mindset enslaved. And I always say, when I talk about slavery, it's not a race, but it's financial slavery. And they want people to stay in that mindset where you trade time for money. You do just enough not to get fired, and they pay you just enough not to quit. I mean, and then you retire on a percentage of what barely got you by in the first place. So it's a vicious game. It's a vicious game of control. I personally, it's funny because I remember in 2021 when my wife and I, I remember my wife looking at me and go, "Honey, it's like we're living a dream." My whole life has been 25 plus years of business and sports, and I've never made more money than I did with just looking up and going, "Oh, my Shiba's at 800 something thousand," or this. I mean, and that's just one coin. And so you look up and you created this multi-million-dollar portfolio on things that aren't even as close as XRP. And that's I shared the story with my group before, and I'll share it again. July 13th, 2023. I'll never forget it, because when that decision came out, my wife and I were in the kitchen. And we literally hugged each other. She was crying because she understood the significance of what that meant. It wasn't the price of what XRP was; it was the
Right.
victory in everything that we had held on to, all the belief, all the ups and downs, just a validation that we were part of something phenomenal. And so,
Mhm.
I
Exactly.
say that to say this: for everyone who's made money in this space, I think the greatest transfer of wealth is still in front of us. I don't think it's happened yet. Whatever money you've made, I think it's peanuts compared to what's coming. And so that's again my personal opinion. What I would like to do is one last thing before I ask you the main question. That is John Deaton. How big is
I,
that? I mean, how big is this guy? I mean, you guys interviewed him, I think, before he actually made that decision to become a run
yes.
for Senate.
Yeah.
And shouts out to you guys, man, and much love because I'm a big fan. You guys, John Deaton, Zach Rector, Lewis Jackson, Molly, was it I just Echo and all these guys, just
Yeah.
phenomenal people. What do you think John Deaton means to the space? Win or lose, I don't care. It's just the fact that he's rough. You know, he's got Elizabeth Warren scared. He's got people talking,
Mhm.
and I just think that if he does win, it's huge. And I'm definitely with him. And so what does that mean to crypto? Not XRP is in itself, but just crypto as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, I see it and I see it within the community and within myself. It's just having him represent, or not even represent, but just be there alongside of us. We feel very much like it's not just the XRP community, but crypto as a whole. I think it gives us a sense of, I mean, he's there alongside of us in this change, in this transformation. And I can see it. It does give people a sense of hope. Like, hey, you know what? This is the world that we were supposed to have,
That's right.
supposed to live in. And I mean, from my perspective, this is why Chris and I started this documentary. We really believe that knowledge is the key.
That's
Knowledge
right.
is power, especially financial knowledge. And I just see it as us being a part of this bigger picture and everyone playing their own little, role in it and having, think of it as like a puzzle piece,
That's
right?
correct. Yeah.
Everyone, little puzzle pieces in this bigger, greater picture. And
Yeah.
I'm excited because John Dean is a powerhouse.
Oh
He
man.
is, we are excited to have him on our side, so that's kind of what I see it as. It definitely, I think it's very much he represents the change
I
that
think I,
is.
I think he embodies someone who came from nothing, the little guy that made
Yes,
it. And I think
yes, exactly.
when a lot of people ask me, James, you've done this and you've done that and you play ball and all, and it's like why I like crypto because it has nothing to do with I'm 6'8", which is my name 6'8", or it doesn't have anything to do if you can throw a football like Montana, if you could dunk like LeBron, if
Right,
you could sing like Prince, or anything, or you can act. It's one of the most fairest forms of capitalism I think that we'll ever see. And I
right.
think when people ask me the question, I say, I like it so much. Well, I love the opportunity because it allows people to dream again.
Yes,
So many times as when we were young, we had dreams about this or that. Kids got in the way. We had to accept this job. Crypto is an opportunity for people to dream again, and I think that's the thing that's more threatening to our government and to their little corrupted system
yes,
than anything else. If people are able to dream, open their eyes up, and say, "Oh my God, I can have more. I can be more." And so I think that's really the thing that makes me passionate not only about crypto, but someone like John Deaton
right,
leading the way.
right. Have you read his book? You should definitely read his book.
I have not yet, but I
Quite
but
the
I
story.
definitely yeah. Here's what's so funny. I know he was talking about like from welfare to whatever. I lived the life, and so I'll read the book, but I actually lived that life. I mean, hard
Yeah.
knocks,
Right, right,
projects, everything against me. Made no excuses. I just had one thing. I questioned everything. Why? Why am I this? Why am I poor? Why am I? And so
right.
I think that's the thing that I haven't read his book, but that's my story. And so I think if it's anything like that, I'm definitely going to be reading it. So
Yes.
with that being said, the last question I have for you guys: what inspired you? I mean, people have thoughts. People have, it's very seldom someone takes a thought and put it into the type of action that you guys have put. I mean, you stepped up and did something that probably maybe some people thought about, but it's taken a life of its own. It's phenomenal. It's incredible. It's got me and so many people like me excited that you stepped up and was able to tell the story. What made you guys do this? Like, did you guys look at each other and say, we got to do more? I mean, what was the thought and how'd you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing is that I've always wanted to be, a storyteller. I went to school for directing, but then, like many people who go to school for the arts, you're like, okay, and now I need a job. I need to make money now.
Right, right.
So, not to say this is bad or good, but I found my path was to go into marketing. And then I spent the last almost decade at Google doing marketing, working, go to market and marketing related roles. And I, kind of had the background of the storytelling plus what my role was taking, and it still is, transparently, I'm still there, is taking technology and explaining that technology to average consumers. So you're taking, a latest feature in Android or a latest feature in, you name it, technology, and you're turning that into an understandable product feature that a regular person is going to care about. So I think that you kind of combine that with, then we're personal investors in this. And then, we relocated to Los Angeles in 2021 with
Okay.
kind of the hope of like, hey, you know what? Like, we want to focus more on, our dreams. Like, I don't want to, stay at Google forever. I'm not a career corporate person.
Right.
I'd rather be my own boss, like many people. And so I think that what we saw was kind of lackluster in terms of the other projects that were out in the world explaining crypto. So I think if you have the question, if you're, like you just said, like if you're bothered by it, you're going to go find an answer. There's channels like yours, there's hundreds of channels on YouTube and X and places. You have the question, you're going to go find it. But if there's anything I know in marketing is, if you don't know you have a problem, you're not going to ask the question. You're just going to be like, well, I'm good, or that's gambling or whatever. So
Right.
I knew that the mission needed to be awareness. The mission needed to be high quality, high production, easy to understand storytelling from experts across a multitude of backgrounds and diverse people of different places and expertise, to allow us to tell the story in a way that somebody who is not part of crypto can follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holy crap. And you actually should leave the documentary with question of, what am I doing about this?
That's right. That's right.
What am I going to do? And one of these people related to me, whether it's Coach JV, whether it's Jimmy Valley, whether it's, Zach Rector, or you name your person, Molly Elmore, or anybody else, we continue to add more people.
Right.
You find your camp, you prescribe to it, but go find the information and go do your research. So I think that was sort of the inspiration of like, you know what, this is the idea. We should go after this. 2024 is the year to do this. Let's reinvest some of the capital we made. We're totally self-financed and there's nobody else helping with us.
Yeah.
We are taking that money out of, crypto that we've held for a long time.
Wow.
Reinvesting that into the project, paying our crew and our teams to make this happen. I should mention, nobody who appears in the documentary is paid. If you ask me to pay you, I would say thank you very much for the opportunity, but no.
Right.
Like, but for the people who are making it, which is a very small team of us, we got to make sure, not for Maya and I, but for the crew this is how they live, like that they can be paid to travel and do all of this stuff and produce this film with us. And we're here to be the shepherds to make sure it's a high quality project that tells the story. So that's kind of, it's the perfect sort of story. And I just couldn't believe that nobody was telling this story. I'm not surprised by mainstream media at all anymore, but even within documentary space, that nobody had gone in and really dove into this. There are some out there, to be respectful. There's some stuff that's been made on YouTube.
Right.
There are some high quality Bitcoin documentaries, but I don't think there's one made from the XRP lens, which is why we wanted to make this project. And just for anybody out there watching this, for clarity, it's a limited series. So we're planning 6 episodes that take, because there's so much content here. So there's introduction to the topic. What is XRP? What's the problem that Ripple's trying to solve in Ripple's world? So why did we get here?
Like the financial system, the old one.
The old financial system to the new one.
There's
an episode all about regulation and the court case and what's happening within the regulatory environment of crypto. There's a whole episode on ETHgate. So when we talk about ETHgate, we look at it as, what is the motive by which the US government, and I think this is something that's actually interesting thematically, there's actually a kind of a amazing thing happening across the US and across the world,
Right.
which I think is an
Well,
increase in decentralized democracy. It's
Right.
people looking around and doing exactly what you did as you grew up, being like, why is it like this?
Yeah.
Why is it like that? What's
Exactly.
wrong with
They're
this?
That's right.
And
questioning.
now I'm amazed in this project that I'm talking to people as a West Coast California person
Right.
that I shouldn't be talking to. I shouldn't be buddy buddy with the Central Texas oil guy.
Right.
I shouldn't be buddy buddy with the Georgian, investor. But
Right.
yet here we are
It's
having
brought
a
us together.
smart,
Yeah.
intelligent, meaningful conversation
Exactly.
about like we're just people. Forget about team red camp, team blue camp. Like that's some BS.
Right.
They're trying to divide us. So, anyways, I'm amazed and inspired by that. And so we go into kind of what was the government's motivation for this in ETH. And then we go into the army itself, a whole episode about these regular people who
Right.
went up there,
That's
who are
right.
trying to do financial education. And then finally, we rounded out with the developer community. So we talk about, okay, now we've talked the people who are commentating on it and providing all the knowledge, the wisdom, like yourself. Then we go out into the world and talk about people who are building the next set of technology on
Right.
XRP.
For
Right.
the future.
Right.
The future, where are we going? What are these coins that are going to help people achieve real world utility? I'm not talking about NFTs for monkeys.
Right. 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 Right.
Nothing against digital NFTs.
Right. I got
But
you.
I'm talking about real world.
Right.
This is like we're going to some nonprofits that are
That's
being
right.
with the ARC Institute. We're going to be going to some nonprofits
That
and
help homeless
help
veterans.
people do real things and then real utility with some real developers. And then finally, kind of commentary for traditional finance from hedge fund managers, ETF managers, and so on.
Right.
We're working on with kind of like where are we going next, talking to some of the exchanges and some of the like real world infrastructure. So we're giving you the full picture all the way through from you don't know anything to
Right.
like, okay, I've got a view of where this thing is going. And I've
Right.
been very inspired by everybody we've talked to in this process.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. You get so many people say XRP Army or a Shiba Army. I just say it's people that just want to dream again. People who want to dream again.
Sure.
I really
I like
embodies.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you. So, I applaud you guys, and I thank you guys for all that you're doing. I heard that, through Zach Rector, that you guys were financing this yourself. I heard Molly say you guys are first class. I mean, she was so impressed by what she had saw on set, and that just meant the world to me to know that you guys weren't cutting corners. It was just not going to be one of those little, goofy things that came on and you forgot about it, but that you're really taking the thing and you're serious and you're putting the time and effort and resources to go out there and what I would say is tell the truth. And that's really all we want. We just want the truth. We just want the truth. And I think, and by the way, if I'm not mistaken, I think you guys got Stephen Naroff on as well.
Yes.
Oh,
we interviewed Stephen 2 weeks
He
ago.
is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
Stephen
Oh,
Narioff, and
wow.
we can't announce it yet, but the
Yeah.
community will be excited about the Twitter sleuths we have involved.
Oh
so.
my gosh, that guy is just a wealth of information. I think what helped me too is I was always drawn to him, his stories and the things that he was saying. But then when John Deaton went and met with him and validated everything, I was like, okay, this is amazing. So yeah, I mean, I'm super excited, guys. I appreciate you guys in a major way and everything that you're doing for the crypto space as a whole. What would you guys like to add before you guys leave? Let people know what you got. Maybe when the documentary is going to be finished. You talked about a series.
Yeah. So our goal is our last filming date, pending any like major stuff, is XRP Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be there. We'll be filming there as sort of a final filming block for us. We are aiming to have the entire series completed probably by June, end of April, June. So end of May, June. So if we're filming our last block at beginning of May, which is when XRP Las Vegas is, you got to give us a little time to finish it because we are building 6 episodes, each one with run times between 30 minutes and an hour or something. So
right.
this is a lot of content to create. and for anybody who's in the community who felt like you didn't talk to me, that's not intentional. It's really a network effect. People know people. When we work our way out, it's because of Maya's relationships that she had with direct people within the people we talk to, and there's a lot of different folks out in the space. So
we didn't mean to leave.
Don't think that I chose.
Yeah, I think it's very understandable because it's even like me. I had Echo on, and then Zach, and then Lewis Jackson's coming on next week, and so I just think as you tap root through people, you start getting more people. It's definitely understandable, and I'm excited. And I'm telling everybody, be here in Las Vegas. We just moved back. Come out to Las Vegas, guys. May 3rd and 4th is going to be incredible. This is one thing I wanted to ask you guys. I saw that you did some type of like survey where you were saying, where would you like to see this? Netflix, Apple TV? Was that serious? Or are you guys looking at just going on all platforms? Or were you really trying to figure out where you want to kind of pinpoint your release?
Well, I mean, it's tactic, right? So we want to be basically, you know, the way that it works to get distributed on one of those streaming platforms. Because I'm not Martin Scorsese, I'm not Steven Spielberg.
Right.
I don't have a name,
complete,
right?
And then
you can't get pre-funding in this world, and Hollywood's in serious trouble, anyways. So you need to have the project completed, right? So we will have our packaging done, and then we will approach Netflix and a couple of other streaming platforms. And the ideal situation is get it in front of as many people on those streaming platforms as possible. Now, some people might say, well, if you want it in front of as many people as possible, why don't you just put it on YouTube? The problem with YouTube is that you have to know what you're looking for with YouTube, right? You know, and I think the mission of driving awareness, Netflix or an HBO or something like that would be one of the best places to place it. And as far as production quality goes, that's part of why we're doing that. We're shooting with cameras that are approved for Netflix. We're shooting in 4K. We're shooting with the same microphones they used to create Dune. Well, guess what? We're using those same microphones, right?
Wow.
Like everything from audio, visual, After Effects.
Hey, we even used the Batcave.
Right? We even shot in the Batcave, you know, like the same Batcave as the Dark Knight. Yes, exactly.
That's crazy.
So we, you know, with every location we've selected, we've tried to maintain a very high level of production quality so that it will look beautiful on your TV at home and that you're hearing the story and it all makes sense to you. So I put that survey out there because I just wanted to see, you know, I thought most people would probably want to watch on Netflix, but it also serves as another data point when we go to Netflix, it's like, and people would love to see it on your platform. So you should put it there. Because I think that'd be the best thing for the series, to be on a streaming platform like that, you know, on a Netflix, on an HBO, on an Apple TV Plus, or wherever there's the most users. That would be the best place, because I want people to stumble upon this thing and be able to watch it or send it to like their cousin, their aunt, their uncle, their mom, their whatever distant relative that's like, you know how it is. Like there's usually like the crypto person in the family. And the next couple of years, that person's going to get hit up because they're like, hey, like the crypto thing you mentioned, like what was that about again?
Absolutely.
So hopefully I can give those of us that are in the community, hopefully I can give each of you like a little tool in your tool bag. You're like, here, watch this. And then come back to me, you know, like hopefully that's what happens. But that's the goal.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that. But like once we do get it sold, ultimately, you know, the streaming platform then decides when to release it. But we're hoping, you know, that it will be released by 24, end of 24.
It's got to come out this year. Yeah.
It's
that's in my terms, you know, and you can't buy it and bury it either. I've heard some narratives on that. You're not going to buy it and bury it. You're not going to put it underground. Like, I just need to make sure it's going to come out this year. And I think it's very timely. There's a lot of other crypto interest going on right now. And of course, like crypto channels always explode during the bull cycle.
Exactly.
So we just want to get the word out there and make the project as high quality as we can and educational as possible. There's nothing in there. Those of us in the community, look, I don't think there's anything in there you're going to really learn. Maybe there's a couple things you're going to learn, right? And 10% of it's going to be new information. You certainly never see it all laid out like this.
Exactly.
But what's important to note is it's an awareness program, right? So for people who are those people who you talk to who don't have any awareness, we need to bring them in and bring them through the journey. So remember the mission of the project about that.
Yeah, and I just want to say, you know, just thank you so much for the support, right? We couldn't do it without the community, without the connections. And, you know, we're doing the best we can to spread awareness with this documentary. I mean, we're shooting for the stars. I'm even trying to talk to senators and congressmen who are pro-crypto. I'm in contact with a couple of them. But, you know, just trying to, you know, really get this awareness of, hey, this is the new financial system. And I mean, I just to kind of finish it off, you know, I I was born in like Eastern Europe, right? I was adopted. I came to the US, and really what I have found in my life is that opportunity, right? And like if I hadn't had, a wonderful American family who gave me opportunity to thrive, that knowledge, then I wouldn't be where I am today. So I feel like this is a kind of, this is a way to give opportunity and knowledge to those who don't have that opportunity, who don't know.
Right.
And hopefully it changes their life, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think it's coming. I think it's going to be embraced because it's coming from people who are investors who fought the fight, who's gone through all this as we have, and yeah, I
Right.
mean, it all seems first class. You guys seem like extraordinary people. I can't wait to see it and see you guys out here in Las Vegas. So definitely thank you guys for coming on the show. I appreciate you guys.
yeah, thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. So
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
definitely. Let's make sure we stay connected.
Okay,
All right.
yes.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Okay, guys, I
All
appreciate
right,
you.
take care.
Okay, take care. Guys,
Right.
that was Fruition Productions. I'm super, super excited, guys. Make sure you guys pay attention and keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for, when that amazing documentary is going to be coming through. I'm excited, guys. I'm beside myself excited. Let me go back over here to the web here, and I'm not really going to go over anything as far as my X page because we're over an hour, but I do want to recognize the community. Shouts out to my man Brendan Dobbin. What's up, my brother? You're very welcome. Island Ghost Stephanie. The community is here. The support is check with South Carolina. They are pro blockchain. Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you in a major way. Bobby Townsend in the house. Appreciate you, brother. We got A. Beasy, Tony Bags. I like giving recognition, guys. Jimmy Gonzalez, Bullish Bird, Anthony Wanner, Nest Force. I hope you guys definitely appreciate all that we're doing here at Crypto for Life. I'm trying to bring you guys all the latest and greatest of what's happening in the crypto space. We've got incredible interviews that we've done. For those of you guys who are new, make sure you go over to our Crypto for Life page. Let me refresh this real quick. You will see not only this incredible, and I want to make sure I don't drop my stream. That would suck. Make sure I don't drop my stream here, guys. Make sure you guys go check out our Crypto for Life page. You'll see this incredible interview that we just had here. All the things we have from strategies to success stories to not so successful stories to just a lot of amazing content, a lot of amazing guests, guys. We just had Zach Rector on. We just had my man Echo on. We've had Versan. We've had Edo Farina. We've had Chris Moore. We've had Mike Owens. We've got so many more people coming. We've had celebrities. We've got my man Lewis Jackson coming on next Thursday, guys. So, hey, I appreciate you guys in a major way. Make sure I got everybody here. Crypto Navigator, thank you so much. Beekeeper69 is in the house. Let's see who else we got here. Anybody else that I missed? I might have got everybody here. Let's see. My beautiful queen Jeanette's in the house. Appreciate you in a major way, sweetheart. Big Watch Dude in the house. Anybody else? We've got Lancha. Is that how you say it? Lancha's in the house. Tiffany Serrano's my sister. Crypto OG, my man Pots and Pans. Always want to wait. Guys, I appreciate you guys in a major way. We will see you guys mañana. We'll be right back at it tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we'll continue on from there. Also, special shouts out again to Fruition Production. Make sure you guys go over to the X page, support everything that they're doing. This is huge. This is for all of crypto. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We'll see you guys mañana. It's your boy James, aka Six8Jay. And until next time, peace.